There we go. Hello, and welcome to another episode of What's on the Pile. I'm Nathan Bezner, and with me is Jenner,
Back again in Boxland.
Wagner,
Never left Boxland.
and Hsien.
Still here.
On this episode, we're discussing the film Aniara, a Swedish sci-fi romp based on an epic poem from the 50s. Aniara refers to a colony ship leaving Earth and going to Mars. Along the way, they get knocked off their course and they lose their fuel. The colony is told it will be 2 years before they can slingshot around a celestial body. Just any random celestial body, if we happen to pass one, which of course is bullshit. They're on a one-way course to nowhere. Then, when the holodeck commits suicide, everything spirals into the darkest depths of despair. This one's a downer, to say the least. On doesthedogdie.com, it warns
I
there's
forgot.
no. Oh no, that's okay. Under suicide, they quote, "There's so much suicide in this movie that even something which is not alive kills itself."
Yeah.
This
That's not wrong.
this was not recommended. This was Hsien. You were talking about it last week, right?
Yeah, I had seen it last week. I talked about it, and as soon as I mentioned that the AI kills itself, you were like, "I want to see this movie."
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
that became the thing. And then while watching it, it did cross my mind to wonder whether you guys would like it. Like, I didn't pitch it for us to do as a group, but that's what happened. And I'm curious as to what you guys thought of it. Jenner, had you seen it before?
Yes.
Okay.
I have background with this, but we'll get to that.
I still have mixed feelings that I'd like to process further and hear from other people.
I liked it on an intellectual level. I can't see watching it again, and I don't. There's a lot of ways this could have been malicious or nasty, and it actually wasn't, which was kind of surprising to me. It's very surprising the directions the story didn't go, that I was kind of expecting it to. This really felt like a 70s sci-fi film, like a downer 70s sci-fi, because it was high on concept, low on action, or really special effects. It wasn't a special effects extravaganza. It was just enough to establish the setting and occasionally remind us of it. So
The effects
I
work
really
was
liked
sharply
it
done.
yeah, I really liked it as an intellectual sci-fi piece.
Yeah.
It just happens to be about a very depressing topic.
Oh yeah.
Space is big and there's not very much in it.
Yeah. I feel similarly to you.
Mhm.
I was riveted, a little bored in some parts. Loved the film as a filmmaker. I thought it was really brilliantly crafted, and I hated watching it. I just hated the experience. Like, I I get it. I don't want to experience that kind of what is it?
Abject misery.
No, there's a
Nihilism.
it's I'm thinking of nihilism, but that's not the word I was looking for. It's a downbeat, it's a downer, it's everything is dark and depressing and
Emo.
no.
Existential
Existential dread.
something.
It,
It's not
It is
dread.
that.
It's something. It's existential, but it's not dread. It's
I don't
yeah,
know. We can move on
it's-
from this. I can't remember. If I remember the word, I'll let you know. No, it's just very heavy, brutal, and emotionally. I will never watch it again. I get the feeling that I felt with this film the way some people have felt when I showed them Solo and they were kind of blind going in.
Really? It was
yet-
that bad?
For me,
have yet to
emotionally, yeah.
Oh, emotionally?
Yeah. It was devastating. It and I got mad at it. I get mad when things make me that sad. when movies get me on that level. I get so angry at them. I'm like, you got me.
God damn it!
I mean,
'Cause-
like the way she cries when she runs into the bathroom and finds the kid, like I felt my stomach drop out in a way that I haven't in any movie I can remember in recent memory.
Yeah.
That was just harrowing.
It's gotten to the point where moments like that will happen, and I'm like, oh, Nate's having a bad time.
Yeah.
That is kind of the reference point I have now, which is sad.
I totally forgot that happened when we decided to do this movie.
This is I usually hate child death when I don't think it serves the plot in a meaningful way, and I think it serves the plot in an incredibly meaningful way here.
Yeah.
I think it's
I mean,
necessary.
In some ways, and please do not take this the wrong way in any respect, but narratively, it was a bit of a relief because knowing now where the story is going to go, that kid growing up is just going to extend things that much farther, watching them grow up into a horrifying existence and then die.
But didn't they have limited resources?
I
They're
feel like they did.
well, it seems like their whole food supply got neglected at some point. And they show like the shots of like the algae and stuff like kind of dripping and kind of going to seed, and that's why there's only like 20 people left later on.
Yeah.
I feel like there was only 20 people left later on because we jumped from like year 14 to year 25. I feel like everyone else killed themselves. I don't think anybody. That's the remarkable thing.
I think a lot could happen in that time.
Or a lot could not happen at
yeah.
all, and that's why they killed themselves. But I feel like there's a handful of places this didn't go that makes it a well-crafted story. They could have gone the route of all their supplies are running out, so the crew turns to cannibalism, which realistically is not going to last very long.
Yeah.
I feel like they didn't do that. I don't feel like the people in the final moments there, I feel like they were dying from like the heat was leaving, and that was the last part of the ship they could afford to keep warm. I don't feel like they were ever starved to death, especially when they had that one, what are they passing through, a nebula or something?
Oh yeah.
That caused a lot of deaths right there just from shaking the ship around.
Yeah.
It's remarkable, and this would never not happen in an American film. There was no revolt. Nobody tried to take over the ship. It would have been an absolutely pointless gesture. Because what are they going to do? Now we own the ship that is still going where we don't want it to go, and we can't stop or turn it around.
Yeah.
We'll absolutely circle back on this, but compare and contrast Avenue 5. We'll get back to that.
It's a
Avenue
it's a Hugh Laurie series.
Avenue 5 is Aniara as a sitcom, but with Americans doing American things.
Yeah.
And if it was British, it's Red Dwarf. But
not exactly. The point is Avenue 5 is essentially a de facto adaptation of Aniara, albeit a very, very, very loose one. What if a bunch of completely fricking basic Americans were in the same boat? With basically a fake captain played by Hugh Laurie. It's legitimately wonderful. Then it's a pity that they never got to the third season, but realistically, it ends in a perfectly adequate place. It's worth taking a look at if you haven't already.
I thought it was just all right.
I haven't seen it.
I adored this movie. I have, as I say, some background with the source material. So it's the late 80s or possibly 1990 at the latest. Oxford Books is an institution in Atlanta with multiple locations, and this one day I go into the classical records section of the Far Road location, and I take a look at items on the shelf, and one thing makes me do a double take. It's Aniara, a space opera. That's what it says on the box. I've still got it here somewhere. A space opera by Carl Berger Blomdahl, who was a mid-20th century rather discordant composer, but amongst other things, it included a complete libretto of the opera. It's a fascinating piece of work, and I've been, low-key interested in the source material and its other adaptations ever since then. There was also a film of the opera, I believe done for I want to say Swedish television in either the late 60s or early 70s. So I've been around this material for a while, so amongst other things, I think I'm kind of used to it. But also recall that Andrei Tarkovsky is my second favorite director, so this sort of existential, angsty sci-fi stuff is really up my alley anyway. But yeah, I think it's a beautifully executed film. I find it weirdly upbeat in a way that it really shouldn't be at the end. They do finally make their destination. That's an achievement in its own right. Nobody's around to enjoy it, but you know, neither was Pliny the Elder, and I quote him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will be all right.
They reach a destination.
It's not. They don't reach their destination.
Yeah, they didn't have one.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I watched this movie, like, I already knew what was going to happen because, so the AV Club did a write-up of this movie like a year after it came out, and I read it at the time, which was like 2019, and it just wasn't really available at that time, so I didn't think I'd ever see it, so I just kind of read what, the article spoils the entire thing.
Oh.
So it even tells that it ends like 25 million or however many million years in the future, and they arrive at a planet, everyone's dead. So going in, I guess,
Well, I mean, the poem's been around since 1956. So
I mean,
yes,
is that how the
nobody
poem ends
knows
too?
about it.
Yeah.
no, the whole thing is based on an epic poem, sort of a,
Right.
a Swedish national epic.
Well, I wonder-
The ending of the poem and the opera is a little bit more ambiguous.
Okay. But I think knowing how it was going to end, I think that kind of dulled the despair a little bit. I mean, I knew they were all going to die, so for me, it was just more about enjoying the journey, enjoying. But I mean, I found it really
That's
riveting.
the spirit.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the movie. I didn't think I would. As soon as it showed up on Amazon, I'm like, oh shit! I remember, like, because I read this article like 5 years ago. As soon as I saw the title, I'm like, wait, that's that movie. I'm gonna watch it right now. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. So that ended up being just one of the movies I brought up last week.
I have this thought in my head. I'm really happy that I saw this because I haven't seen that bizarre, what was it? Jennifer Lawrence Passengers. Which is, I feel
similar DNA.
I feel like it's the light version of this, like it's the knockoff light version, and I've never seen it, so I think if I watch it now after having seen this, it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be funny.
I actually really like that.
I like that movie.
Oh.
I haven't seen it.
Despite that one really problematic element that's, I mean, it could have very easily been a horror movie, but as it happens, I really like that movie. I feel like it's a good time.
I feel like the movie addresses the problematic element more than people say it does. Like, it's
that
still there, but there is other things happen.
Lawrence Fishburne has a great word for it. Just damn. Anyway, just the delivery says everything. You were saying, though.
I mean, Nate, in that mindset, I think you will find it a romp. It is silly. It's fun. I think you'll enjoy it, especially as like sort of an antidote to this.
Yeah. It seems like a palate cleanser.
Yeah.
I think
if you understand what I mean by that.
Yeah. There is an outside possibility it may actually piss you off more just because of the problematic element, which is...
No, I know it's very rapey.
Yeah.
I know that it is very I know everything that happens in the movie. I've read everything. Because I was like,
freaking give it a look. Good Lord.
I mean, that's not how the script originally ended, right? They changed a lot in the production of it, from what I remember. It was a highly regarded script at the time. It was like a blacklist script, one of those. Isn't blacklist like the best unproduced scripts? So it got passed around, and then of course, once Hollywood gets their hands on it, they're going to change it around, and you get some big stars attached. They have to sand down some of the interesting edges of it, which who knows what it was like.
Chris Pratt. All I could think was Andy
Dwyer.
Yeah, Andy Dwyer. I kept thinking Andy Dwyer. What the fuck is his name? I couldn't remember it. He was adequate.
Owen from Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
No, credit where credit is due. That dude from Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
I I
Sorry.
I would very much like him to take a break. Like 10 or 15 years ago. Anyway.
Wow.
I actually have a question for you, Jenner.
Oh yeah.
I'm really curious if there are any story beats that happen differently between the various versions of this that are based
The
specifically on this.
the I like it. I have not actually read the poem. I still
Oh,
need to
okay.
actually sit down and read the poem. I've read the libretto for the opera. The opera is a lot simultaneously less overtly violent and more overtly sexual.
Okay.
People
Okay.
fuck up a storm in the opera.
Okay.
I do.
It is
Yeah.
Swedish.
I love that when they have their scary. They're like part 3 cults or something like
Yeah.
that.
That is absolutely in the primary source there, yeah, or at least certainly in the opera.
That struck me as the most Swedish thing about the film, but go ahead.
When you see them, it's very dark, and I was thinking, like you said earlier, thinking is this going to go in the direction of like creepy cult take over the ship? And it turns out no, they just want to fuck.
This creepy cult just hanging out on the ship.
Like we miss our holodeck, let's have an orgy.
Yeah.
This
is a reasonable response.
What you gonna do?
That's harmless.
No, that is definitely an aspect of, I think, Act 3 of the original of the opera. I assume that it issues from the source as well.
So it's interesting again. I was so convinced at some point this was going to turn malicious with like a takeover or roaming purge-like elements on the ship or some bullshit like that.
That's high rise. That's high rise. Make no mistake. See High Rise if you haven't seen High Rise, but still.
But
yes, the dog dies.
I was watching it late one night and came to a stopping point right as they retrieved the spearhead. And I'm like, okay, this is where it's going to turn like super duper dark. So I went to bed and didn't finish off the film for another 3 days. Because I was so convinced it was going to go dark, because they were going to open it up and there were going to be like refugees from Mars or a message that says Mars is fucked, y'all are on your own, or they didn't do anything. Somebody just shot a crossbow bolt at them.
The implication of useless or completely ununderstandable aliens is in the opera as well.
There's the alien. I thought that was supposed to have come from the direction of Mars, though they never explicitly said that.
Well, we don't even know where they were in the solar system at that point, do we? They're just they're still in the solar system, so
it's not overt. It's just suggested that it is a fundamentally unknowable interstellar phenomenon. And that's why it's so refreshing that the whole thing does not go in the direction, the obvious story beats of uprisings or that sort of thing. Although Avenue 5 did have a lot of fun with that, mostly because the uprisers were so completely freaking incompetent. But
I do find that very amusing. What a discovery! Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But similarly, the lack of the story beats is primarily because anything that these people can do is nothing compared to the sheer nothingness that is about to envelop them. There is no enemy because they don't need one. They're still completely fucked.
It's
a very Swedish mid 20th century kind of point of view.
Well, it's legitimately hard sci-fi. It takes a couple of basic principles and says, okay, now what? And the answer is, you drift forever and no one ever finds you. Period.
I mean, there is no one to find them, right? That's the implication that I got, that there's no one left on Earth, so there is no one else.
Ambiguous implication at the end of the opera is that they actually were found by somebody long after they were all dead.
Well, it's interesting because this is a sci-fi concept too, of you fire someone into deep space, like you send a colony ship somewhere, and they get like 100 years out, and technology back on Earth or wherever humanity still exists advances enough that the next colony ship catches up to and passes that first one and beats them to the goal.
Yeah.
And if it's far enough away, another colony ship using even further advanced technology catches up to and passes them, going in the same direction.
It's an underused premise.
It's an underused premise and an interesting one. I mean, I don't think they're still in the solar system at the, well, obviously not at the very end of the film, but even by
Right.
like the 24 years. I'd have to do the math, but they were traveling from Earth to Mars in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks.
3
I think,
weeks,
something
yeah.
like that.
3 weeks? That is an incredible rate of speed.
But they were
And-
also no longer accelerating. They're
Powered?
drifting now. So I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
but-
they weren't accelerating, but they weren't decelerating
But
either.
if you cut
you have to do the
acceleration, if you do a straight cut to acceleration, doesn't the acceleration never stop?
But they were
because
also
there's
going-
no
but they-
force to
But they
push
changed
it back?
direct. They changed direction though, so they
That is a
must have lost
question I have.
speed. I mean, I don't know.
There were a few points in there that I don't quite understand, and the biggest one, I don't like poking holes in hard sci-fi, but the biggest question I have is communication. However fast they were traveling, they must have had a way to communicate with Mars. So why weren't they talking to Mars at some point? Would they have passed, or at least we should have been told at what point it was no longer possible to talk with Mars. That they
I
were
mean,
just too far.
also maybe Mars wasn't colonized. Maybe they were the first ones. I don't know.
I think
They
it
don't-
explicitly said they were the last one, didn't they? Or
Yeah.
did I miss?
Oh, they were okay. I thought they were the last of humanity. So humanity's already established on Mars. Maybe I missed that. I thought it was just one ship going from Earth to Mars. This is like the Hail Mary for humanity, but I might have missed something.
I thought it was just one ship going to Mars.
That's what I
Okay.
thought as well. I thought that they were one of many, or at the minimum, this was the latest of the ferrying.
Yeah, what one of them said, "I've got to get back. I promised my 4-year-old I would make his
4-year-old.
birthday."
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so that does beg the question: why didn't Mars send someone after them or something like that? But
a rescue ship.
whatever.
Yeah. If they were all on the ship, then who would they have thought the quote unquote rescue ship was that was coming, that they spotted, that turned out to be the Spearhead? So I feel like there had to have been someone somewhere, but I mean there was a lot of self-deception going on here too, so they could have been just winging it.
In my head canon, the Spearhead is a disused solid fuel rod from one of the ships from the aliens from the Strugatsky's roadside picnic.
I don't get that.
You see, I feel like it had to have been intentional because it was heading for them and it came close enough that they could catch it. To me, that means it had to have been intentionally aimed at them. But the fact that it was utterly inexplicable, I mean, why would they have sent that if they weren't even going to scrawl something on the exterior of the ship like, good luck, guys, or sorry, or...
You didn't know to punch in the save everybody code on the obvious control panel that you can't see in your visual wavelength?
Yeah, there you go.
Why everybody knows to punch the save everybody control on the obvious control that you can't see in your visual wavelength.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Try explaining daylight savings time to an alien.
That's not that hard.
I don't
We can't
think
even explain it to humans.
You can, they just don't like it.
I'm not sure I have much more to say about this movie. I hated watching it. If you don't like things gradually getting worse, if you hate The Walking Dead, you might hate this too.
Oh, that's a low blow.
Oh.
No, I mean just because in both worlds it's so nihilistic that it assumes that humanity will start becoming their worst, that they'll either they'll give up hope or they will become the worst aspects of themselves, with only a few pockets being able to keep things together. Like
but Nate,
with the hope, it's just like a few joyful people like you. I can't believe you can keep a smile all the time. Uh, I don't know.
I think maybe one reason I like it, and maybe I think Matt touched on it, is they didn't tear themselves apart. That's what we would have expected. That's typically what would happen, and I mean they just die of despair basically and boredom.
and old age and
But
running
what I
out of
mean is it sees the worst in what can happen in one of these situations and then revels in it like it's gravy.
I don't feel like it reveled. That's the thing. I don't feel like there was a malicious instinct.
It's not an
behind the
exploitative.
film.
No,
It's not an
that's true. It's
exploitative
not.
film, and it's not an exploitative story.
It
I don't
really
mean
does.
I don't mean to call it exploitative. That's not what I mean. I'm just being, I don't know, flowery with my dialogue.
It's well, the thing is that
And yes, I do call my speech dialogue. So anyway,
That's fair.
I
You're
when
talking
I was
with
growing up,
people.
I was absolutely 100% sci-fi nerd.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Read every piece of sci-fi I could get my hands on, to the exclusion of everything else. And this was a complete exercise in the hard sci-fi end of things that is dispassionate, but in dealing with the humans on board, I feel if anything, it was a little bit charitable because there was some bright moments in there. There was some moments of humanity in there, and it did not go out of its way to revel in the awfulness. I mean, nobody resorted to cannibalism. It's a trite little trope, but nobody did really.
These days, even if it's because it's something from the middle of the last century, of course they didn't resort to cannibalism. Even so, the fact that they didn't, that's how weird is it that that's refreshing these days?
But this is what I was trying to say is those two, The Walking Dead and this, give me the same general sort of feeling. Whereas what
so much better here.
Where I'm not saying they're like comparable in quality. Whereas I like to pretend in a fantasy world that things will be good, which is why I am such a hardcore Star Trek fan. I want to live in the fantasy that humanity can be its best and achieve great things. I want to be that kind of hopeful person. That's what I enjoy in my sci-fi these days. I just don't enjoy wallowing in. I'm trying to think. I speak this way. I don't know how to stop using words like that.
You have your lexicon.
This premise visited upon the Enterprise would be awesome. I would love to see what happens.
I'm sure they've done this.
Have they? My Star Trek experience is very limited.
They flirted with it a bit in Star Trek Beyond. It's not exactly the same sort of thing because there was a planet fall and that sort of thing. But that said,
the closest would be the show Voyager, I would say.
Voyager has a bit of, specifically the Year of Hell sequence.
Yeah. Where there's like nothing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If incidentally you are not caught up on Strange New Worlds, for the love of God, catch up on Strange New Worlds. It is wonderful.
I haven't had time to catch up on it, but I watched the Lower Decks episode and it was wonderful. And I've heard from my Star Trek friends complaining as the season went on. They're like, they're trying to make Spock more human and emotional. It looks really stupid. And then in that episode, they just crush it. Boimler thinks he destroys the timeline by making Spock smile, and he's so freaked out about it constantly, which is exactly what a fan would do and what the fans were complaining about from the previous episodes.
But the whole season is just freaking magnificent, although credit is due, it does end on a to be continued. I think they kind of earned it. But in the meantime, the episode that followed the crossover itself was a absolutely searing rumination on PTSD. Yeah, there's some major tonal shifts between episodes. There's, of course, the episode that everybody knows about, but see it. And I'm not talking about the crossover, but a wonderful series. The most joyous Star Trek that, other than Lower Decks, that we've seen in a long time. But,
Is it better than Orville?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not better than Orville.
Okay. See?
Yeah.
But at times it is as good as Orville.
Okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't. They're very different. They're very different shows. I know that Orville is essentially next gen, but they still have very different feelings to me.
Yeah. Well, they managed to spin it off in a very different direction. It's, the trick with the Orville was an absolute beaut. They took the first season where they were just playing it as though it was a Star Trek riff. Then they got into the second season. And it's like, oh, it's not fricking Star Trek. We can change things. Things can actually happen. We can create stakes and follow through on them. Mm-hmm. What a concept!
Yeah.
No, the Orville was a joy, but Strange New Worlds is a joy. My point is, as much as anything else, why not both? I mean, I like my despairing sci-fi. I like my upbeat sci-fi. I even like the cliffhanger at the end of season 2 of Strange New Worlds. So it's all good.
All right. Okay.
I mean, of course, I'm a fairly forgiving audience. I was having a conversation with Bob and another friend a few days ago where we were kind of doing a deep dive sort of revisitation of the more recent Battlestar Galactica. And I was obliged to thinking over things, I really had a much higher tolerance for the last episode of that series than most people did.
Yeah.
Nate, I think we called each other right after that aired and then complained about it. Well, my friends who I was watching it with were sitting in the other room like, what the hell's going on over there?
I think I talked with Nate on the phone about it at the same time as well.
Counseling.
It had I made a little picture, an avatar that had what's his face with the hat, Ziggy, who has Ziggy.
Ziggy.
What the fuck from Quantum Leap?
I've never seen Quantum Leap.
Al.
Yeah. What is the man's name though?
Dean Stockwell.
Dean Stockwell.
Oh, okay.
Dean Stockwell has a gun in his mouth, and I just put "fuck it" right above his head.
I remember that. That was also a hilarious shot when he shot himself.
Yeah, he just gives him. He's just like, "Fuck it."
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? That was in Babylon 5, huh?
No, Battlestar
Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
Babylon 5, of course, just had the new animated movie that dropped that I can't wait to see. I just haven't had a chance to see it yet because my TV is in a box back in that dark void behind me.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
I hope all that's going well.
Yeah. I'm alive. The end is in sight. The end is in sight.
That's good.
I'm sorry, dude.
It'll be all right.
If I was in town, I'd help.
It's all right. It's all right.
Well, I think we can move on from Aniara. I keep wanting to say I
was going to start a whole diatribe about the cold equation, but never mind.
I keep wanting to say Annapurna for some reason, and I don't know why. I don't know what that means. And
it's a logo. It's a film production company. The logo. They make video games. Their logo is everywhere.
That's it. That's it.
Annapurna.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well,
and of course, Annapuma and Unipuma from Dominion Tank Police.
The only part that actually needed to have been animated.
Who would like to start with this week's What Did You Watch in the Last Week?
I have very little.
I have watched basically nothing, but I have seen things since our last since the last episode I was on, so I have a couple of things that I can add in on.
Okay.
Yeah, I swamped everyone last week, so go ahead.
Well, I mean, of course, I already held forth on Strange New Worlds, which has recently wrapped up. I swear there was something else that we wrapped up in the interim. Finally got to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and Across the Spider-Verse before vacating the old place. Also, something else came back that I saw the first episode or two of. Oh, Only Murders in the Building is back, and that's always delightful. No, Across the Spider-Verse, yeah, it does have that sort of interstitial quality to it. That said, pretty amazing movie. Definitely doesn't feel self-contained like the first one does. The first one, of course, you'll recall that I held as probably the single best movie of 2018, and with a possible tie with Avengers Infinity War, which I kind of tie as the best movies of the last decade. So that's a lot to kind of hold up to. Some of the story beats on Across the Spider-Verse were... some of them were kind of predictable, but the way that it treated them felt fresh. It felt invigorating. I thought it was a beautiful movie. I can't wait to see the next one. I hope it's not as delayed as much as they've been saying it is.
It's never coming out.
God damn it!
Who knows?
Just bring back Noir. Give me Cage.
Was he in the shot at the end when they showed all of them together? He was
in the shot at the end. Yeah.
I couldn't. It's been a while. I saw it when it first came out.
But we talked about it last week.
Yeah, because you just saw it last week, Nate, right? And yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, finally got to Guardians 3, which I thought was a very satisfying wrap up to, that sort of mini series.
I liked it better than the second one, but less than the first.
I think I would agree with that.
I think that's kind of a common reaction. Some of the emotional stuff, that Gunn was looking to stick it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is a shot in the trailer that ended up going a very different way from what I was expecting based on the way that it was edited in the trailer in the film itself.
Which was?
Remind us.
Hugging the otter. I thought that was a reunion.
Was that in the trailer? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
There's aspects of that movie which are absolutely heartbreaking, and it's definitely done on purpose, but that's okay. That's exactly the relationship that a vivisected animal would have with its vivisector.
My mom hated it.
She hated the whole movie?
No, she hated the whole movie. She called it manipulative. She was like, "This is so manipulative. I hate it."
I'm sorry, you cut out there. She called it what?
Manipulative.
Absolutely, it's manipulative.
It
that's
totally
okay.
is.
Welcome to film.
Yeah, I know, right? All film is manipulation. It's individual mileage will vary. I ended up really like it, even if I knew that I saw the strings and I saw the strings acting upon me, but I was fine with the strings.
I like that he kept saying somebody from the main cast is going to die this time. It's the last movie. All the press, all these stories, somebody's going to die. And he shot like 9 different this character's going to die sequences that they just started getting funny to the point where Chris Pratt is like, his face is exploding. I was cracking up. Because I was like,
what was that?
What?
That was when he's in space.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh,
they
okay.
released. Wait, did he shoot these characters? Are you talking about these scenes are in the movie?
No,
or he shot character deaths.
No. I mean, like
people?
with the way he does, like when Drax gets knocked out, when everybody gets shot down, during the when they're in the living planet or the whatever that place was, the blob place.
That place. Yeah,
they kept having these moments where they would have like he edited it and shot it in such a way that it looked like it was one of those character death sequences.
Okay.
Like everything slowed down and got quiet and really sad and
you're right. He
focused
really did that
in.
a lot.
He did it a whole shit ton of times, and he did it because of those. I don't. Maybe he dropped those articles and thought it would be hilarious because he is such a troll as a filmmaker.
I was about to say, knowing Gunn, I figure he probably shot scenes of everybody dying, like actually dying.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. And then he did that to either not leak the correct one or something to fuck with people who were looking for leaks or something like that.
no,
but
no.
Maybe he didn't.
Yeah. Well,
No, he just shot it like everybody was dying.
Yeah.
If he did that, it'll be on the Blu-ray, so I'll be able to see it eventually. I have seen the movie. I'm just saying. I have a Marvel shelf.
It's a thing that happens.
It's an utter caving to populism, but what are you gonna do? I like them, and I have a bunch of 7-year-olds in this house.
And I don't have Disney
Scandal.
Plus, so
I canceled Disney Plus.
We no longer have access to Disney Plus, because of certain restrictions which have been put in place. So we might actually have to pay for it ourselves. Except there is nothing on Disney right now that I feel like I have to visit, including, I was never interested in Secret Invasion, and apparently, Nate,
Secret Invasion was kind of weak.
Apparently, the new Little Mermaid.
I read Nate's posts.
That's what I'm going to talk. That's what I'm going to talk about. This
because you have thoughts.
I do have thoughts. Amelia wanted to watch the new Little Mermaid. We all wanted to watch something else. I think it was Across the Spider-Verse, and she wanted to watch the new Little Mermaid. She hadn't gotten to pick in a long time, and so eventually we were like, okay, we'll watch the new Little Mermaid. It wasn't Across the Spider-Verse. We'd already seen that. It was some other movie that I don't even remember.
It was something.
And I've seen every single one of these live-action Disney films, and every single one has been weak. It's been mediocre. It's been how does this add anything to the mythos or the story or the conversation about these characters in culture? There's nothing. And so I thought going into Little Mermaid, I was like, this is going to be boring as shit. I brought a bunch of magic cards upstairs to sort because it was going to be so boring. And that movie was fucking trippy as shit. It was so goddamn trippy. Oh my God. The way they do the animation on everybody's mermaid floating around is they center the face and then lock that so that it just stays in place and everything else moves.
Oh my God. It's that camera technique they did in Pi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a hell of a
Aronofsky's Pi.
Yep.
Yeah. They basically motion tracked.
So that one.
Yeah, they did.
There's a scene in there where the camera is basically locked to the main character, looking at his face, and he goes around to various places. So the world moves around him. That is weird.
I believe that's the first time anybody used that shot. I think he coined that one.
Yeah.
But no, the animation is freaky. It just looks really upsetting and weird. My kids thought it was upsetting and weird.
Selling me on this movie.
And
you may actually be bringing it back on the map for me over here.
It was about 15 or 20. Well, let me get to later. It was about 15 to 20 minutes into the film, or maybe 30, and the bird from the animated version, the seagull, I guess,
Scuttle.
and the Scuttle, is catching fish by going underwater, because now it's a bird that goes underwater, because the director was like, I wanted a reason for it to have met Ariel because it's above, and the bird comes down and then just starts talking. Just Aquafina starts talking underwater with Ariel, and it was so upsetting to me because it was so trippy. Like, welcome to the octopus garden where the birds come down and talk of the trillylops, and I don't know. It was bizarre. It was a bizarre choice. I don't know why it was done that way. And then we get to a 10-minute sequence, which is a song for the prince, who is
For
now
10 minutes.
for 10 minutes. For 10 minutes, and it's all the human world shit. It's all gray. It's very gray.
We got to give that white boy representation.
And he is the only white boy, and he is the only one focused on. Like, it's his world. They recast.
For 10 minutes.
They recast everybody except the white man. It's the only one they didn't recast as a person of color. I think that's amazing that they were like, no, we got to keep him white. He's got to stay white. That's just in the character's blood. He's got to be white. Anyway.
Granted, it's been a while since I saw the original Little Mermaid, but and please, this has nothing to do with the gentleman's physiognomy. Prince from the Little Mermaid was pretty fucking white.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Nate, I've got a film I want to
He was
recommend to
dancing
you.
with a dog.
Okay.
There's a Polish film called The Lure.
Yeah, I have that.
Lure.
Oh,
I have the disc.
Lure.
Yeah.
That's a great movie. That's
Yeah.
The Little Mermaid told accurately, but also as a horror movie. And is it a musical? It's a musical too.
Yeah.
It's a horror
Yes, it
musical
is.
comedy.
Have you guys all seen it?
Yeah.
I have the Criterion. Yeah, I
Yep,
saw
me
it
too.
right when it
Okay.
came out.
All right, I loved
Smochinska
it.
is interesting.
It is. I would almost say that one of the central featured songs in The Lure is actually better than the songs in The Little Mermaid.
Yes, I have the
not-
soundtrack on
the-
Spotify. Are
Yeah,
you talking
right.
about the one like I Came to the City or something?
Yes, and
Or
it
something
has the
that's-
interlude in the elevator with the guy who's doing the tutting.
And they're in the
His
department
hands.
store, right?
Yes,
Yes.
That scene's I
Love
love that
that
too. I love that
song.
song.
Love that
That's
movie.
a great
it's
song.
Polish, and I have no fucking idea what they're
Yeah,
saying.
well,
It's
okay,
just
we-
better.
This is for the audience. We've all seen this, but if you get a chance, hunt down Agnieszka Smochinska's The Lure from a few years back. I want to say something like 2013. It's on
one-
Criterion Collection.
Asterix. Not a film to watch with your parents
Or kids.
Or your kids.
Yeah.
or kids, but I don't have experience with trying to watch it with my kids. This looks like a really good film. It's Polish. It's a version of The Little Mermaid. I haven't seen it. 12 minutes in.
This is why I have to check
Now,
check
calling
stuff.
calling it a film of The Little Mermaid is a bit of a reach. Easiest
It
to
is
think
the
of.
opposite of a reach.
Yeah,
It is a
it's
much
the-
more accurate
Yeah, it's
version
the
of The
actual
Little
story
Mermaid.
of the Little Mermaid.
I don't think they were. I don't think that all of the mermaids were vampires in Hans Christian Andersen's, and I don't think there was more than one of them particularly. But I don't.
Were they both mermaids? Both the
Yeah,
girls?
the girls were. I don't remember what the guy was.
Also
the punk
vampires. Granted, I mean mythological mermaids are freaking terrifying, but
thingy.
you know,
Exactly.
still.
Exactly. I mean, they hang out with kelpies. So
You always bet on Merman. Have you seen a mermaid? Anyway.
yeah. yeah.
All right, so the middle portion of the movie is actually incredibly boring. It's not trippy for about an hour.
Did it have to be 45 minutes longer than the original?
No, because it's just added songs. That's
I was
all
gonna say,
they did.
This was Rob
45
Marshall,
minutes
right?
with songs?
Yes, new
Jiminy
songs.
Christmas.
Like
What
the
other songs did they add?
they fucking I'm a prince and I want to do what I want, but oh, I'm rich and white. And then
Well,
they
then
have
they-
the song where it's her and she's like, I really wanna get with him, but I don't have a voice, so this sucks.
I'm
And
so fucking horny.
and
Nope, those are the
I
actual words.
and I am 100% positive that they put that extra song of her in there because they knew that her voice wouldn't be heard for the next 45 minutes and they needed her voice to be on screen again for some contractual obligation.
Probably.
I don't know. That's my thought.
That was Rob.
they
That was
did
Rob
cut out-
Marshall, wasn't
it
it?
was Rob Marshall.
Yeah, not a
They
good
did
director.
cut out. They cut out the section of Sebastian versus the cook, right?
Yes. Yes.
Did they remove that song too?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, and
45 minutes longer. You couldn't have found time for that song?
I went on down a rabbit hole.
Mhm.
when David Diggs plays Sebastian, who has a Jamaican accent. And I started thinking, and I thought, have I ever seen a Jamaican play a Jamaican? And it turns out, no. For the most
Wait.
part, there are not very many Jamaican actors being cast in Hollywood films. They exist.
I have to ask for the obvious one.
Mm.
Were all of the people in Cool Runnings not Jamaican?
They were, yeah. That's why that movie's awesome.
Oh, okay, good. Because you were about to break my heart.
No, I won't break your heart. I mean,
That
as
movie
far
is
as I
awesome.
know, so don't break my heart if somebody knows different. But as far as I know,
that-
one to my daughter.
That one they were all Jamaican. We're gonna let it go.
I'm pretty sure that's the only one because every other Jamaican part I can think of is they're like, let's just cast a black guy. They're all black, right? We'll just cast a black guy and have him do an accent.
We're talking Hollywood, right? Because Jamaica does have its own film industry.
Yes,
It's
it
a small
does.
one,
With
but I have seen The Harder They Fall. So
it's got some
Good.
stuff going. I think they should be given more of a chance.
I think
And
it was The Harder They Come, wasn't it?
yes, it is. I'm sorry.
The Harder They Fall was the Western with Idris Elba a year or two ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But Jimmy
but-
Cliff was The Harder They Come.
The point being that The Harder They Come is a misquote of the actual saying, which is why I can never hold it in my head. But go on.
I know in Luke Cage, not a single Jamaican was in that production. And
like two of them were supposed to be, right? Or am I remembering wrong?
There were a couple more than that. There were a couple.
They were in there.
Is it Diamondback who was supposed to be Jamaican?
I think it was Diamondback who was supposed to be or at least he was supposed to have spent time there in any case.
Or
but yeah, it was
maybe.
I was thinking the Diamondback was supposed to be Jamaican, but yeah.
Yeah, not. That show was so funny to me. I think it was
I like that show.
No, there was one moment where there was who was the guy who in the first season was trying to get
Cottonmouth.
No, not the first season. The second season. The guy with the supervillain suit. The actual
in Luke Cage?
Yeah.
Was that Diamondback?
That was Diamondback.
That was Diamondback? Okay. Is he the guy who like is in the middle of the street and he like breaks a car and he's like, I'm Luke Cage, and then runs off?
Yes.
Is that him? Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Because
that might have been the other guy in the first season.
It had to be.
It's been so long. It's been so long since
later.
That's the only scene I remember from Luke Cage because I was laughing so hard when it happened because that was his whole plan. He was like, I'm going to get Luke Cage blamed for some shit. Boom. I'm Luke Cage. Off. Brilliant.
One way to frame a guy. It's been a while since I saw that show, but
going back to Little Mermaid, I have two last things to mention. Melissa McCarthy, terribly miscast. So many better people could have played that part. However, she gives it her best, and she's a pretty damn good singer. And she has fun with the part. She was also upset when she found out that they did not that Lizzo wanted the part, but they didn't want to give it to her because they wanted Melissa McCarthy. I think that Lizzo would have been very good.
I think Lizzo would have been very good.
But we got Melissa McCarthy, and some of her things some of the things that they make Ursula do are really dumb and weird, but we still get a kaiju battle at the end. So
there's that.
Yeah. Oh, also, she is the only undersea creature other than like regular fish and stuff to have gills, but only in her kaiju form and only on her cheeks.
That's not how that works.
Her brain needed extra oxygen.
It's the movie is a fabulous misfire. I won't say it's as effervescently insane as Cats, which is also a very fun watch, but it's in the same milieu. That's what I would say.
Nothing will ever get past. Ian McKellen as old. Not was he old Deuteronomy in Cats?
Yeah.
I forget what's his character's name. It wasn't Old
But
Deuteronomy,
there's just
though.
a scene where we're just passing by, and he goes meow meow meow. It's like nothing is ever going to hit that
I have to
level
freely
again.
allow. I have the Blu-ray of Cats. I have not seen the movie at all yet because I have not had a social occasion since I purchased the Blu-ray of Cats.
Okay. Jenner, when you break in the new place, you start it with Cats because nothing is ever going to match that for utter insanity.
Yep. I need people for that.
We should do a Cats watch party.
I mean, I have not seen Cats. I don't know if I want to.
It's
I
no.
have seen Cats in the back of an airline seat. So.
This is a movie that has Idris Elba hanging off of a blimp, essentially going like, "I'll get you next time, Gadget," and it's so demeaning to him as an actor of his caliber that it's amazing that they had him do that, and they didn't even like, this is Idris Elba, treat him with some goddamn respect. No, we're gonna hang him off the fucking blimp, and he's gonna be the traditional villain. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I enjoy that movie. I am entertained by that movie heavily. I recommend it.
I could only watch it in pieces on the plane, so I
am not watching that without people.
Yeah,
I'll put it that way.
Yeah, that is an appropriate response.
Yeah.
I did watch.
Meow, meow.
That's actually a pretty good Ian McKellen impression.
Thank you. I was actually proud of it when I heard it myself.
I saw one other thing. Come Play. I saw Come Play. This movie from Amblin Partners that came out like 2 years ago. It's about an autistic child who is nonverbal, who suddenly starts getting messages from an entity called Johnny or Teddy or Freddy or something mundane.
Johnny.
It's something like that. My Amelia would know because she's fucking obsessed with this creature now. The creature itself is amazing. It is a monster movie. It has this kid who's in all these kid movies. He played Timmy.
Larry.
What? Larry. That's it.
Larry. That was it. Yes.
Larry just wants a friend. Yes. So. Okay, so Britta from Community is the mom.
I'm drawing a blank on her name as well, but
Gillian Jacobs.
Gillian Jacobs, that was it. Yes.
She is a mom with a husband who is kind of a piece of shit. He's just not there. He never wants to be home. He doesn't want to help take care of the autistic kid, so she takes care of him all the time. But the autistic kid, he doesn't have any friends. And he uses an iPhone because he's nonverbal, he uses an iPhone to communicate. And then some entity starts talking back to him from inside his phone and showing him a children's picture book that all about this entity named Larry. Larry is a guy with a tiny body, like a tic-tac body, and a little tiny head with super sharp teeth and tiny little eyes and fucking enormous arms and legs and pure white.
He's Pinhead from Puppet Master.
He is Adam from Evangelion.
Oh, okay.
Just white, creepy looking, weird. And here's the cool thing. A puppet. They went traditional.
Yeah,
kind of. They went with traditional puppetry work with this thing, and the puppetry is really good for a monster movie. The movie itself I enjoyed it. I thought it was an okay movie. I would say watch it for the monster especially, but also the main kid. is fantastic. That kid has 2 lines in the entire movie because he's nonverbal, and he emotes like better than the adult actors.
I thought Jacobs was pretty good in that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. A difficult role.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Kind of a thankless sort of thing. I really liked that movie. I have not seen it since I think I picked it up right when it hit video. So I've got it. I saw it right after that. The check boxes in my brain are liked it, very well done, creepy, good performance by Jacobs. I don't remember a whole lot of what actually happened, but that was kind of mid-pandemic era. But I recall it as having been a very good movie, and I need to see it again.
That is specifically why I have a rewatch pile. But yeah, go ahead.
That's fair.
It's a downer. Just be forewarned. But
kind
it's
of moving,
but
though.
it's not at the same time. It's both a downer and not. It's I don't know. Just watch it. I recommend it.
On a scale from John Wick 4 to the movie we watched this week, where does it rate on the downer scale?
That's kind of not a scale.
I know, I'm kidding mostly.
I would say I could scale this. I would say it would be about 60% John Wick in fun factor rather than horribly depressing factor.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scale looks like one thing, but it's not the thing that it looks like.
Right.
It's actually logarithmic, but okay.
That's it. That's all I watched. Oh no, I watched one last thing. I watched Shinesman again.
Yay!
Wow.
Shinesman,
okay.
someone pink.
Yep. I was cracking up.
Glowing green square.
I was showing it to Declan, who loves cars, so I thought, the Mitsubishi montage. He watched the first episode of the 2, and I asked him, "You want to watch the second one?" And he looked up at me and went, "No, thank you."
Oh.
Oh.
Father's heart.
Oh.
At the same time, he has not seen nearly as much anime as I have, and especially the classics. I have not been educating him in that regard.
You'd figure the Mitsubishi Montero in peril would draw his interest.
It's a montage
in the English version.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Here's a question for you. So we have seen entirely too much of Power Rangers Ninja Steel in this household. Is there enough there that I could introduce them to Shinesman, do you think? Or
it's really only the 2 episodes, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's it.
That was all they ever did.
I mean, will they enjoy it?
It's a parody. It's 100% a parody. Most of the comedy will be understood by people who get the references.
Okay.
And especially,
have you not seen Shinesman?
And there's a big.
I have seen pieces of Shinesman. I haven't watched it front to back.
Shinesman must green.
I think it holds up. Just thought I'd say that and move on. Who's next? Okay. Who wants to go next?
I can go next. I've only got a couple.
Okay.
Okay, go for it.
Contrasting last week, where I dominated things with a literal stack. The only movie that I've watched even part of recently is something from a movie box set while I'm trying to get some exercise in, from a movie called Cry, which is a La Llorona story.
Okay.
Yeah. It is not the shittiest La Llorona story I've ever seen, because one of the 50 movie box sets had a La Llorona story in which the hero and his girlfriend were trying to escape by river into a boat that was literally a pool toy.
That's awesome.
Like an inflatable ring that if either one of these people actually got in, it would immediately sink. It was literally a pool toy, and they were
There's a
trying.
there's a can-do-itiveness to that kind of filmmaking that's to be commended.
Very much so, because it felt like this was a second-rate film school's thesis project, and they just did not have a prop that was better.
Fuck it!
So
We gotta get it
we're
done!
gonna use this. We'll crop it out. They didn't crop it out.
Just
It was-
get the shot, Ray.
Pretty much. But the fact that I'm talking about that version of La Llorona more than this one is telling. It's dumb. It's not worth seeing. It's in a 15 on 3 discs movie box set. So you can imagine
So
the
this is
video
one of
quality we're dealing with.
So this is one of those Echo Bridge boxes that was all of the like super indie pickups.
Yes, it was an Echo Bridge production.
And
The other thing.
and are you you're referring to the Spanish ghost story?
The Crying Woman.
The Crying Woman? Yeah, Mexican.
I think it's
Yeah.
Mexican, isn't
It is. It is because
Yeah.
Jess did a whole thing on it, and Amelia got really obsessed with it and started watching a bunch of different variations. Has
Has
not
she seen the Mexican one from the late 50s yet?
No,
That's a
that's
good one.
not a bad idea. Yeah, I haven't
Curse
gone that
of
far
the
back yet.
Yeah. Curse of the
I was
Crying
unaware.
Woman.
I was unaware there was a good La Llorona story.
Oh,
other
one of
than
them. One of
maybe
them
the
just.
recent high budget one.
One of them just got a Criterion release.
Really? Holy
Yeah,
shit,
it was.
okay.
Well, I mean, it's about. It's another film about PTSD. Let's see. I want to say it's Philippine. J-Ro Bustamante. It's either Philippine or Venezuelan, which I realize is two very, very different things.
Yeah.
Look it up though. Basically, it's La Llorona is griefing a former political torturer and his family. So that's ripe. I need to pick that one up still.
See, that's interesting because my impression has always been that La Llorona is never the good guy in these stories.
La Llorona may have been the good guy in this one. I
Yeah,
haven't
that
seen
is-
it yet,
that's
though.
interesting
That's the
take.
thing.
Okay.
But suffice it to say, it's a La Llorona movie with a Criterion release, and it's from I want to say 2019. So
'Cause I've seen 5 or 6, and most of them have been on those 50 movie box sets, and they're all really shitty.
yeah, there is that
Sometimes
Conjuring.
hilariously so.
There is that Conjuring verse one that came out a little while ago. I haven't seen
That's
that.
what I was referring to.
I'm told it's fun.
Okay.
But
Well,
yeah.
could be worse.
Have you guys seen Monstrous?
Yes.
Christina
Ricci.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that.
No.
I don't.
Not a great movie.
I don't recommend it, but
Not so super
that's
terrific.
a movie that I thought was going to be that same type of story, but ended up not being that and being monumentally worse.
Like
I can't.
hilariously or just
No,
boring?
it's just bad. It's just bad. It's a bad film. Amelia's over here agreeing with me, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a good picture.
Okay.
Christina Ricci works her ass off, but that's the thing is, she's working her ass off. She's not acting her ass off.
Yeah.
The other thing I've been seeing because I
It's
can't look
thankless
away-
material. Yeah.
The other thing I've been watching because I can't look away is Record of Ragnarok.
How is it?
I still need to see that.
Is that anime?
Yeah.
Yes, this may be the stupidest anime I have ever seen.
And
that
that's
is really
saying
fun.
something.
Okay, we'll actually put just on the back burner the fact that Aphrodite is present in this series just so she can be in a scene, just so she can appear occasionally with servants on either side of her just to hold her breasts up. They might be statues. I'm not sure. They've never moved. Okay, so for those of you who don't know,
It's
Record
on
of Ragnarok.
Netflix, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So at least if we still have
Ragnarok.
Netflix, we don't have to pay for it. Okay.
Right. Record of Ragnarok is the end of times have come, and mankind is being judged by all the gods through a series of one-on-one battles between a human and a god. And the Valkyries have thrown in their lot with humans so that they become weapons that the humans use so that it's at least an even battle. However, this is the most fucking stupid cultural appropriation I have seen by Japan maybe ever. I might have to like sit down and think if there's a worse one. And it is more than epitomized by the fact that the fourth battle is between Hercules and, wait for it, Jack the Ripper.
You're selling me on this. I've been
I am.
wanting to see that.
This is
Which
bringing
is the
me
reason that I can't look away.
This is bringing me right on to the map here, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, but that, believe it or not, that is not the stupid thing. Because this is, I think it's the fourth battle in which we've gotten in and we've established a pattern in which we start the fight, and then when one of the characters looks like they're going to lose, we have an entire episode of their backstory. And then we come back and revisit the fight, and then the other person looks like they're going to lose, and then we get that one's backstory.
Nice.
And then we conclude the fight. So in the fight between Hercules and Jack the Ripper, we first get the backstory of Hercules, which, as we all know, Hercules was born a frail child.
No.
In which he, despite being born a frail weakling in his native village of generic ancient Europe, stood up to all of the bullies in the neighborhood, fighting them even though he lost every single time. And then, one day, the god of war Ares led an army to come crush his tiny little village, and only Hercules was brave enough to go out and stand before Ares and say, "You shall not pass," at which point Zeus granted him the power to fight Ares.
So it's not just culture.
no.
So it's just not even cultural appropriation. It's cultural appropriation in a complete absence of research or reference to the primary sources.
It is utterly overwriting the mythology of other cultures in order to make the most generic, sympathetic protagonist for the Japanese anime audience.
Or it's a new form of writing.
Or it's just broad parody out of the get-go.
One writer writes a Mad Lib, and then the other writer fills it in.
One writer writes a Mad Lib, and the other one, who happens to go to all of the most generic Japanese anime protagonist adjectives, fills it in. Now, you thought I was done.
Oh.
Because
no, wait, there's more.
There's more.
But you've already sold me.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hercules is fighting Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
So we have to get Jack the Ripper's backstory, which, as we all know, is that Jack the Ripper was born with a magical eye who could see colors.
Well, we don't know who Jack the Ripper was. He might have
could stare into their soul. This might be true. Who knows? Maybe there was an Englishman in the 1800s born with an anime Dragon Ball Z superpower to see into the souls of the people around him, and he discovered
victim blaming.
The most glorious color they could make was when they were afraid and dying. But he was born as a poor child to a prostitute in 1800s England, who only had him as a way to try and attach a rich English nobleman to her, and when she was turned away, she turned her viciousness on her son, who then killed her. And it's not making me sympathetic here, but just making shit up.
Is
Yeah.
is there anything about Whitechapel or anything?
No.
So he wasn't. Wait, so why is he called Jack the Ripper?
Because it is Jack the Ripper. He killed. They don't mention it. He just killed a whole lot of people. And his Valkyrie gives him a doctor's bag out of which he can extract blades that will actually hurt gods.
That's actually a pretty cool power.
I will give them a little bit of points for. And guess who wins in this fight?
I'm gonna go with
Jack the
Hercules.
Ripper.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, because they have to
I am
pair it up.
I am
Well,
so
we're-
sold on this program.
Are we rooting for the humans? So we want that to happen, or
That's we are theoretically rooting for the humans, but after Jack the Ripper wins, all of the humans are like booing him because he's an awful person. So it's kind of interesting. Is this the definition of an anti-hero? We've taken a serial killer and made him the hope of humanity.
Yeah, who made that decision? That's like I wouldn't possibly in a million years come up with that ever.
Yeah.
I'm sold on this program. I want to give this a look.
So I won't reveal. Do you want me to go through a couple? I've only watched the second season. Do you want me to bring up a couple of the other contestants?
You can bring up the other contestants.
Okay, I won't tell you who's paired with who. There's Lu Bu. There is the greatest sumo wrestler in history. His backstory is especially interesting.
Wait, is he the actual greatest sumo wrestler, or he's just called the greatest sumo wrestler? Like, is he a real guy?
Name like I know sumo.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
We'll take their word for it.
There's a
you know
stand-in
everything.
for-
You have to answer my questions.
There's a stand-in for the Sword Saint, Masashi
Miyamoto.
Miyamoto. Thank
Yeah.
you, Masashi Miyamoto. On the god's side, we get Thor and Shiva, and the one who fights Zeus. Guess who fights Zeus? It's Adam, like the Adam. Like they refer to him as file 000000001.
I'm looking. I
being
want
the
to give
first
this a look now. Are you
Does
sure
it-
it's
okay,
not?
Wait.
Are
Is
you
it,
sure it's not broad parody out of the gate?
has Adam updated his clothing, or is he wearing the same thing as when he was?
the leaf?
Yeah.
He's wearing a fig leaf. You will never, I repeat, never guess what weapon he chooses to transform his Valkyrie into.
Oh no! Wait.
Yeah.
Oh.
An apple?
No, it's an actual weapon. I'll give him
an
that.
apple.
But you will never guess what weapon he chooses. I will tell you if you want me to, but
I'm not going to get to it soon enough that this is not going to kill me in the meantime. So I vote spoiler.
okay. Nate, you might want to take your headphones off.
No,
'cause
it's
you look
fine.
like you might actually watch it. Okay.
I am
He
going to
chooses-
watch this, but you go on.
He chooses knuckle dusters.
Yes.
I have to look it up. I don't remember who Adam fought. It was Zeus versus Adam.
Yeah, you said that already.
Yeah, you mentioned.
Well, Zeus was in there. I didn't mention that it was.
No.
Okay. Actually, Masashi Miyamoto is not the one. It's Kojiro Sasaki. I mean, I don't know who that is. It becomes very Japanese-centric very quickly.
Okay.
There's a lot of manly tears shed over the greatest sumo wrestler at every stage. That's
What?
not telling you who wins. They shed tears just constantly whenever he's around. So
Okay.
yeah. So
All right. Sounds good. I'm sold. What's next?
Seriously.
that's all I got.
Oh,
Follow that.
Okay. Oh shit.
Shane, I think you're all that's left now.
Yeah.
I think we're covered otherwise. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only got 3, and I just realized. Well, I realized during this podcast, as I was looking at the list, that these 3 are all thematically related, not even intentionally. Okay, so the first one, I got dragged to the theater to see the new movie Strays. Are any of you even familiar with this movie?
No.
Yes, I
I
became
am familiar with this. Yeah.
Oh
I-
wait, is that the comedy with? the
Yeah,
talking-
it's basically
Oh.
Homeward Bound, but hard R vulgar with
Yeah.
Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx, Randall Park, Isla Fisher. Sofia Vergara plays the sofa that Jamie Foxx's dog likes to fuck.
Holy
I'm
shit,
sorry.
They took a big mouth turn.
Yeah, Will Forte plays the human, the worst dog owner of all time.
Oh yeah, I like him.
It's a fun movie. It's fine. It's 90 minutes. It's every dog joke you could imagine, like humping, sniffing asses, pissing on things to own them, eating vomit, eating shit. Everything you would think that they would joke about, they do.
Whoever has the rights at MGM at this point needs to do a restoration of Robert Downey Sr.'s Pound. This was the follow-up to Putney Swope, where all of the dogs in a pound were played by people. And I don't mean like, people acting like dogs. I mean people acting like people with street clothes walking around a pound, talking about their dog problems.
He's a tramp, but I love him. Quote the Lady and the Tramp.
So
well,
walking.
It's not a no-kill shelter. Yeah.
So walking out of this movie, a movie popped into my head that I swore I own on DVD, but I must have purged it at some point. I'm looking at, just out of curiosity, I looked up for this movie I haven't named yet. I looked it up on doesthedogdie.com. The first entry is, don't watch, nothing but dogs dying left and center. It is the most over-the-top dog death movie I've ever seen. But it is Alejandro Iñárritu's debut film, Amores Perros.
Oh.
Which I've owned for years and never watched. And for some reason, this movie popped into my head.
What does that translate to?
It translates. So I asked my Hispanic friend. She said it translates into "love dogs," but she says it's conjugated weirdly in that you wouldn't say that. You wouldn't say it that way. It's intentionally like slangy or strange.
It's kind of like "love's a bitch."
That was how it was translated on Tubi when I watched it, because I couldn't find my DVD. Apparently, the Perros also is a slang for misery, so it could also mean like love and misery or something like that. And this is
I love extralingual puns.
A dog's life.
Yeah.
This is from 2000. This is the post Tarantino where everything is multiple storylines converging. This is 3 stories of misery, all centering around dogs that all converge in a car crash. One of the stories is about dog fighting. There's extensive dog fighting. There is one dog death scene that is so horrible, it's almost hilarious. And I kind of want to spoil it, but I'm not sure if you guys ever plan to watch this. It's a good movie.
I want you to spoil it now.
I want you to spoil.
I want to know
So
this.
there's this badass dog who's the king of the dog fighting. He's killing everybody. He's killing all the dogs. And he's in the middle of a fight, and then the owner of the dog who's about to lose gets pissed at this, and he pulls out a gun and shoots the dog. That's just the beginning. This dog eventually ends up in this car crash, gets abandoned on the streets, and is rescued by a homeless man. And this homeless man, not knowing this dog's history, nurses this dog back to life. This homeless man also lives in this hovel with 6 other dogs. When the dog is healthy again, the homeless man goes out, and he comes back, and this dog has murdered all of his dogs. His entire room is covered with blood and dead dogs.
Oh my god!
It's horrible. It's just horrible, but you almost have to laugh. And the homeless
I would laugh.
The homeless man pulls out a gun and points it at the dog and is about to kill him, and then instead looks at the dog's face and puts his gun away and says "bad dog," and this dog becomes his companion for the rest of the movie.
Wow.
So it's a good movie. I happen to be a sucker for the trope of the late 90s trope of the multiple storylines that all have tangential connections and they converge on some event. Like I love Magnolia. That's one of my favorite movies. This is a
do you like 2 Days in the Valley?
I have not seen that. That's been on my list for forever.
Oh shit, we put that on the list.
It's on Prime. I've been meaning to watch that.
I want to rewatch it very badly.
I would give that another look. It's been a while.
Yeah, I've heard good. I remember when James Spader was on one of the talk shows promoting Crash, and Siskel and Ebert were also on the show, and Ebert gave it a thumbs down. And right before they cut to commercial, Ebert goes, "If you want to see a good movie by this man, go see 2 Days in the Valley." That's always stuck with me. I've never seen it.
Interestingly, Ebert actually gave Crash a positive review in the newspaper. It might have been Siskel who was poo-pooing
Maybe
it.
they gave opposing thumbs, Siskel and Ebert. I thought Ebert gave the thumbs down, but I could have been wrong. But I know he endorsed 2 Days in the Valley before they cut the commercial. Anyways, Maurice Peros. I mean, you guys have seen Babel, right? He did the same thing like 3 years later with Babel.
Ebert gave it a Koji Yakusha. I have it on HD DVD. I've still never seen it.
I like this one better than Babel, but they're both the 3 storylines. One problem I will say with this movie is instead of the stories interlocking throughout the movie, it's story 1, story 2, story 3, and the first story is the best one. So, and then you have to start over, and you're like, okay, there's these new characters. It's not as good. Oh, no, we're starting over again. It's not like they're cutting in between.
Was it Iñárritu who did 21 grams?
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he did that. I think 21 grams was right after this.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this reminded me of another Iñárritu movie. Have you guys seen Beautiful with Babel or no with Javier Bardem?
No.
Ooh,
There's a scene in that one that's almost as funny as the dog scene. There's
almost as funny as dog death.
So Bardem is like he's got these like illegal immigrants working in this basement, and there's like 20 immigrants, and they don't have any ventilation, so he gets these fans for them. He comes back one day, and they're all dead. The fan has emitted some poisonous fume to kill them all. He has his cronies dump the bodies into the ocean, and they don't do a very good job of weighing them down. And near the end of the movie, you see all these bodies washed up on the shore, and that's how he gets caught.
Oh.
Are you familiar with the fan death thing that was North Korean pseudoscience?
These were Korean immigrants that were killed in this movie. So maybe this was a reference to that.
Probably there and possibly is a idea that electric fans in a confined space use up the oxygen.
Yeah, that's what happens in this
movie. And will suffocate you as a result. There is, needless to say, in case anyone is at all skeptical about this, no, they don't. It just moves the air around. But for some reason, it's not even an urban legend. There's like local studies and shit done that tell people that don't run an oscillating fan in a confined space because it'll use up all the oxygen. You'll suffocate and die. It's the weirdest pseudoscience, like urban legends that have attained governmental endorsement. It's the weirdest fucking thing.
I've never even heard that before.
I have not heard that one.
I've only just seen it in this one movie, and apparently that's bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit.
So anyway, so that's two.
Find a point on it.
So that's 2 dog movies. The third one's not really a dog movie. I rewatched Dog Day Afternoon.
Hey,
that's a nice segue. Though.
Yeah, but I forgot how funny that movie actually is. I don't. It's I mean it's there's a lot of tragedy in the story, but particularly the first half when they're robbing the bank, when they're first starting the robbery, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. It's actually I forgot how funny it was.
Yeah.
I also forgot that Chris Sarandon played the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Prince Humperdinck.
Credit where credit is due. Girlfriend.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you. I don't know when you switched.
That. Yeah.
He was robbing the bank specifically to get her to get money for her surgery.
Oh, that's true. So yeah, we can probably make assumptions, but
yeah,
I
know that's through the present day filter going all the way back to Sidney Lumet and what was that 77?
I think it was earlier than that.
75. It was before. Like it was what Lumet did before Network. So
yeah, the incident happened in 71, and I believe that guy was still in prison when the movie came out.
So like 74 or something like that.
Well, it's one of those things that they put it in a movie and you don't believe it, and it turns out it's based on actual events, and just the weirdness that followed this person around for most of their life.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I had. Those 3 dog movies, kind of.
Have you seen? Has any of the rest of you seen White God?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with White Dog. That one I felt weird about that one the first time that I saw it. If you haven't seen it, Shane, I think you might find it interesting on the heels of.
White
really?
God. White God is the one where the dogs are all in groups and everything.
Open revolt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then White Dog is the one about the Nazi dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I want to make it clear that I don't
No one
endorse
feeds this
dog.
dog, but this color black.
I don't
Yeah.
derive any joy from dog death in general. That it was just in this particular instance at Amores Perros, it was just so much. It was just like
Everything sort of
what can
ran
you-
together there.
Yeah, it's like
So-
what can you do
Well-
but laugh at this scene?
Well,
I have spent the last 3 days. I have had to get the carpet cleaner out, so I might be more sympathetic at the moment. We have a very elderly dog. And,
Aw.
he doesn't. He is deaf, so he doesn't even scratch to be let out. He just sort of stands near the door, and if nobody pays attention, well, I guess we're going to the carpet again.
Poor little boo.
Luca's going into her twilight years as well.
Oh,
How
man.
old is Luca?
She
That
is
old.
12.
What? Yeah, I was going to say, I dog sat her in 2010.
Mhm. No.
Had to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So she's got to be at least 13.
Yeah.
at least.
Okay.
Because you
When
were
did-
still living at
when
your
did I
other
sh-
house.
That was
When did
that
I
was when
shoot
we
the
were
zombie
working on
movie?
No, it was when we were working on
Ooh.
Exposure.
No, but when did I make the zombie movie?
Which
Oh,
one?
that was 9.
2009.
Wait, antibody?
2009? No.
No, that was
wait.
2008.
2008. Because I got Luca 2 weeks before we shot Devil's Crossing.
Oh, no.
And Jess had just moved in with me. So she moved in. The next day I'm like, I got a dog. And then 2 weeks later I'm like, peace. And
Ooh.
Yeah, that had to be late 08.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's 15 years, bro.
Wow.
Yeah. That's about the same age as Bailey.
Oh
honestly.
wow. She's she had a couple of leaks up in Michigan. Yeah. Yeah.
We can't take Bailey to visit relatives anymore.
Big scritches to both of them anyway. I miss
yeah.
both of those dogs in their respective locations.
All dogs are great. Not all dogs are great, but dogs are great. All right, so why don't we talk about what we're going to watch for next week? There was 2 Days in the Valley, and there was one other one we had mentioned.
Hsien Mutante.
Oh, that's the one. That's your.
That's the one that, yeah, you do not get to talk about Alex de la Iglesia without me. Thank you very much. Try to pull a fast one while I'm off the map there.
Are you gonna be-
didn't know.
Are you
I
gonna
didn't
be
know
here
you
next week?
did.
I am going to be here next week. I am over the hump. All I have to do is collect about 40 more boxes of either books or VHS, and I'm done. I will be next week, barring misadventure or complete physical breakdown, which hasn't happened yet.
I am not entirely certain. I am having to go to Oklahoma City next week with very little notice.
Wait, is next week the holiday weekend? Or no, that's the week
No,
after.
it's the
Wait,
week
that's the week
after.
after. Okay. I should be fine for both anyways. I'm just
Okay.
wondering.
Yeah, no,
Um,
we've got Dragon Con the following weekend, but of course that doesn't
Oh,
overlap
Jesus.
with Tuesdays. Yeah.
Right.
I miss Dragon Con, but I can't justify. I just went to Gen Con, so I can't justify going to another con at the
Yeah.
moment.
Eh,
With Christy quitting her job, so
yeah.
yeah,
Best regards there anyway as well.
No.
yeah, it was necessary.
Fair enough.
You can talk about Hsien Mutante without me.
No, we do
I'll
not get to
catch up the
talk about
following week.
Hsien Mutante without you.
There's plenty else we can do.
Yeah, there was something.
Let's do 2 days in the valley. 2 days in the valley.
No, there was
It's been forever since I've seen
something.
it.
There was something else we mentioned earlier that 2 of us had seen and 2 hadn't, and I don't.
Today?
Yeah, like just before 2 Days in the Valley, we were talking about something before that, and we were like, we could do that one, and then we moved on very quickly. But I don't remember what the movie was. I guess I can watch playback later.
Hmm.
I don't recall.
Well, do 2 Days in the Valley. I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
I haven't
Sounds like-
seen it since I saw it in the theater. It's
Oh,
practically
oh,
a first
wait.
viewing anyway.
Wait.
Uh,
I'm going to check availability.
oh,
Oh,
that's a good point.
good point.
Of you?
Did you
No,
just-
it's on Amazon.
I was gonna say, didn't you
Oh,
just
it
say
is?
it's on Prime?
I'm
Oh,
almost
okay.
positive it's on Amazon. Because I just added it to my queue
Possibly
a couple
worth
weeks
double
ago.
checking. Yeah.
I mean, this was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, free on Prime.
Make sure. Yeah. Okay. There we are.
And Fubo, and Paramount Plus, and MGM Plus.
Nobody
and
has that.
Nobody ever will. Yeah.
No.
Oh, MGM.
All right.
Try not to
Well,
watch that.
Bless them for trying at this point.
I like the idea of ending this a little before 10 so that I can try to get on my normal sleep schedule before the school year starts.
Oh, you lucky bastard! I'm already 2 weeks in.
Oh, that sucks. We're next Monday.
I just spent 2 hours fighting with my daughter, who decided she didn't want to do homework, and we're trying not to start off on the wrong foot.
What's the age?
3rd grade. She's 8.
Oh, okay.
They have
That's
homework in 3rd grade already?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
remember.
Oh yeah.
3rd grade apparently is where things really ratchet up.
Yeah.
It's not just sight words anymore or spelling.
All right, well, I'm going to close out the show and make us all go to bed on this depressing episode of What's on the Pile.
Glad Jane wasn't here. We have
I
dog death,
know.
child death.
Jane liked Aniara tremendously as well. It's worth noting. She sends her best regards in any case.
Oh, okay.
She is more in the thick of cleaning the place up and getting it ready for sale or for listing. So my battle is almost over. Hers has just begun. Yeah. Hopefully she'll be back on soon.
And that's
Best
like
of luck to
indefinite,
her.
right? That could drag on for however long. You never know, right? For selling something.
Yeah, but she does miss us.
Okay.
Okay.
The sale.
Well, you
is probably
guys,
not
she doesn't miss me at all. I'm still there,
Unless I'm
or here
completely-
around.
Unless I'm completely out of date, I think she will sell the house pretty quickly. It's a seller's market at
Yeah.
the moment.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah.
Long story.
Long
Do we lose Jenner?
That was a long story. Wow.
How am I going to end the show if he's going to pop back up in the middle of me ending the show? I like
If it's
the
any
Sorry, don't want to put
reassurance,
everybody's
Hello.
business. Hello.
there
Am I
you
back?
Yeah, you
You are
froze
back.
for like 20 seconds.
and then
Yeah,
all
yeah,
your
I-
tech, all of it came
I am
at
a-
once.
I am on Wi-Fi with no option of a hard wire in this place, unlike the last one. So the fact that I haven't been more screwed up so far this episode. Take the W.
Yeah, you've been pretty clear, actually.
Mhm.
All right, well, I'm going to call it for this week. That's going to do it for us. Join us next week for 2 days in the Valley. You can see us on Facebook, but apparently Facebook is only for old people. Or we have a website, whatsonthepile.com, that hasn't been updated. It's pretty much just the YouTube channel now. That's really...
You don't want to associate with young people anyway, so don't worry about it.
I actually know some young people that listen to our show.
Oh, cool.
Really?
Oh,
Is that who told you that the other was for old people?
No, they're not the same people. These are people from my magic group.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next week. Say bye, everybody.
bye, everybody.